Today we wanted to put out a video sharing what we feel are currently some of the best strollers on the market as we move into 2024. This won't be a comprehensive list of every stroller we recommend. For that you can check out our buyer's guide if you're interested. But I do want to go over a lot of models anyway here, and as a result, I'm going to rapid fire pretty quickly through them. So if you'd like more info on any of these models specifically, I've linked their full-length reviews in the description. So let's get stuck in then, beginning with the Baby Zen Yo-Yo 2, which is an awesome pickup if you're looking for a trustworthy and proven ultra-compact, in particular for travel, that can handle a bit of broken sidewalks and stuff when you need it to, has a slim folded profile, and that's more comfortable to carry by its shoulder strap than most comparable models out there. Next up is the Bugaboo Butterfly, which is also quite sturdy, though a little chunkier in its folded dimensions. That being said, it's also easier to fold, has a more accessible shopping basket, and has the key defining factor versus most competitors of maximizing child comfort with its larger than average seat dimensions, extending the age at which a child will have a good napping surface beyond what's offered by most other travel models. Moving on, we get to the Jules Air Plus, another premium brand ultra-compact that's a tad lighter than the Butterfly, has a generously long backboard, a functional shoulder strap, a nicely accessible shopping basket, similarly sized wheels to the Yo-Yo, and, though it's arguably a little weaker than either of the previous two strollers, comes with a 10-year transferable warranty, which is more or less unheard of with other brands. Next up is the Leclerc Influencer and Magic Fold, which are, mechanically, the same model, and are sturdily and simply built quote-unquote auto-folding options, with good-sized seats, nearly as large as the Butterflies, and acceptable terrain capability. Before moving out of the ultra-compact class, my two recommendations for budget models, for this video anyway, are firstly the Ergobaby Metro Plus that has a newborn acceptable recline, a very durable chassis, an adjustable handle, and great seat dimensions, all for a price that's below its manufacturing quality in my opinion. And secondly, the Kindercraft Newbie 2, which, though being a tad large to call a true ultra-compact, is also quite solidly constructed, auto-folds like the Leclerc models, also has a newborn acceptable recline, and also has quite generous proportions when it comes to its sitting surface. Similarly sized to the Newbie, in the sense of also being a bit large for an ultra-compact, is the UPPAbaby Minu V2, which is a tad sturdier than all of these models so far, as well as being more terrain capable than all of them other than the Newbie, and which has the ability of attaching UPPAbaby's overnight approved full-sized bassinet. There are several use arenas where the Minu V2 can be a good model to get, but among these, I'd like to point out that it's one of two strollers that I find widely recommendable for parents specifically looking for a model to keep in the trunk for use with a heavily car-based lifestyle. The other model that I find ideal for this purpose is the Nunatriv Next, a lightweight, reversible seat stroller with a super comfortable folding process, folding down to a single slim piece with the seat attached either forwards or reversed, that has a decent upright position and a near flat recline, and that provides good terrain capability due to wheels that are larger than most other models of its size and weight. For parents looking for a small-sized, reversible seat stroller for a preferably less car-intensive lifestyle, I have three models to recommend today. First being the Cybex Mios, a very finely and efficiently designed stroller with an easy one-handed, one-piece fold, provided the seat is facing forwards anyway, a newborn acceptable recline, a pleasantly light weight, and the option of an all-mesh seat that can be quite useful for warmer climates. Secondly is the Jules Hub Plus, that's both more durable and terrain capable than the Triv Next and Mios, that also has a highly malleable seat frame with a newborn acceptable recline, provided that one uses the Cocoon accessory, that folds quite compactly as a single piece with a seat facing both forwards and reversed, and that lastly has an integrated shoulder strap for easier carrying when needed. And thirdly, there's the UPPAbaby Cruise V2, that's also sturdily built, has a super-sized and highly accessible shopping basket, awesome for shopping groceries at the corner store, a much larger than average reversible seat, and excellent suspension. From here, we move on to larger-sized reversible seat strollers, where the first model I want to give credit to for standing out over the past year is the new version of the Balios S Lux, which is an excellent full-sized budget model that can also be used from birth, due to its flat reclined position, has a decently sturdy chassis, good shock absorption, a nicely accessible shopping basket, and the ability to fold down as a single piece with a seat in either facing. Next up is the Cruise V2's bigger brother, the Vista V2, which a lot of people dismiss if they're not interested in its tandem option, but which actually functions best as a single-child model in my opinion. Comes with both the seat and bassinet included, has a similarly very spacious shopping basket and extra large seat, good durability, and decent terrain capability. And lastly, for these larger-sized reversible seat models, for this video at least, there's the Bugaboo Fox 5. That, like the Vista V2, also comes with both the seat and bassinet, but which has somewhat better driving characteristics, with bigger wheels, better shock absorption overall, and a smaller footprint, and that also has a couple of folding options that the Vista lacks, in the Fox's ability to fold down to a single standing piece, not just with the seat forwards facing, but also reversed, as well as with the bassinet. Alright, shifting gears, I'm going to move over to three-wheelers, where two of my favorite hybrid city and off-road use models are the Baby Jogger City Elite 2 and the City Mini GT2, that have more manageably sized wheels than one finds on a lot of three-wheelers, the Elite having 12-inch wheels and the GT2 having 8.5, as well as somewhat more compact folded sizes. On top of this, the Elite 2 and the GT2 also have good durability, spacious seats, and enough terrain capability to cover the majority of what most parents need, even in rougher climates, with the Elite 2 being naturally a tad better in this respect than the GT2. The other two three-wheelers that I'd like to present today are meant for handling full-on off-roading conditions. Not that they can't also be decent in the city as well, especially if you live somewhere with harsher winters. And those are the UPPAbaby Ridge, which has big wheels, strong suspension, a dynamic handbrake, which can be quite useful for slippery conditions, a decent-sized seat, with a better upright position than one finds on a lot of three-wheelers, and an excellent shopping basket that's both large and easily accessible due to the way it extends off the rear frame. The other model is the Thule Urban Glide 2, which has the same large-sized wheels as the Ridge, also has a dynamic handbrake and decent shock absorption, but which is, at the same time, a little lighter, not just than the Ridge, but also versus most other off-road oriented three-wheelers. The Urban Glide 2 is great as it is, though I would note here that the Glide 3 is coming out in the spring, which looks to be even better, and which will also likely mean sales on the Glide 2 to clear stock. Moving on to our last category for today, I'd like to suggest a couple of two-child models, the first being the Bugaboo Donkey 5, which is a super comfortable to use, reversible seat two-child stroller that can also be contracted horizontally to a somewhat smaller single-child configuration. The chief advantages with the Donkey are that it's easy to access both children at the same time, it's easy to swap and combine bassinets, car seats, and seats for dealing with children of different ages, it has great terrain capability, and, despite being large when unfolded, it can actually be packed down smaller than a lot of comparable strollers by disassembling its various elements, flattening the seats or bassinets, and telescopically contracting the chassis. The other two-child model that I'd like to note today is the Mountain Buggy Duet, which is great for situations where you need some degree of terrain capability and want the equal access to both children that a side-by-side stroller brings, but also absolutely need a model that's as narrow as possible, since the Duet is only 63 centimeters wide, which is skinnier even than the Vista, for example. Yet the model still has acceptably sized seats, an effect that's been achieved by recessing the rear wheels into the rear frame. On top of this, the Duet is also built on Mountain Buggy's extra durable, off-road oriented chassis design, which is, in my experience, one of the sturdiest chassis ever created. In any case, we hope you found this video interesting, and if you did, please subscribe, as this sort of support helps us to continue making videos in the future. If you'd like to know more about any of these models, we have standalone reviews for most of them that go into a lot more detail, and links have been added in the description. In addition, if you're currently shopping for a stroller, we have a buyer's guide on our Patreon page which lists a much wider range of models that we recommend than what I've covered today, with a lot of technical and lifestyle related information. You can find it by following the link in the description as well. Thank you.